So the dream of European glory is over for Liverpool. When something like that happens, you're left with the cold, hard reality of what comes next. Their Champions League exit to Paris Saint-Germain, it marks the end of one road, for sure, but it throws them right onto another one. And you could argue it's even tougher, the fight to secure their future in the Premier League. So let's break down what this all means for the club. And really, nothing captures the feeling inside that dressing room better than this. It's just a blunt, honest, and, a deeply personal admission from the captain, Virgil van Dijk. Forget all the tactics and analysis for a second. This is the raw emotion of defeat. And it's the starting point for everything that has to happen now. So how are the players themselves actually dealing with this? Let's forget the pundits for a moment. The team is looking back on their season with a pretty harsh verdict of their own. Yeah, there's no sugarcoating it. Now this is really interesting. Listen to the language here. Midfielder Ryan Gravenberch doesn't pull any punches at all, calling it a big failure. I mean, for a club like Liverpool, the goal is always silverware. And when that's off the table, the only thing left to do, like he says, is try to learn from it. And this number, wow, this is the final, brutal punctuation mark on their entire European campaign. 4-0. That was the aggregate score against PSG. It's a scoreline that tells a story of a tie that, on paper, looks completely one-sided. But the reality? It was a little more complicated than that. And here's the thing. According to Gravenberch, this defeat wasn't just a one-off bad night. He sees it as the culmination of a tough season filled with the same old frustrations. He points to this pattern: conceding late goals, dealing with a ton of setbacks, and this is the crucial one, not finishing their own chances. It's a story that's been on repeat all year. Okay, so let's zoom in on that PSG tie, because in so many ways, it was their entire season in a nutshell, all packed into just 2 games. It was a classic, frustrating story of total dominance that in the end got them absolutely nothing. And this just brilliantly illustrates the night and day difference in their performance. I mean, look at this. In that first leg in France, Gravenberch admits they were pretty much outplayed, and they didn't even get a single shot on goal. But back at Anfield for the second leg, a completely different story. He says they were simply the better team, putting PSG under some serious, intense pressure. Which brings us to the million-dollar question, doesn't it? If you totally dominate the game, if you're the better side on the night, how do you still end up losing 2-0 and crashing out of the competition? What was the missing piece of the puzzle? Well, Gravenberch gives us the brutally simple answer right here. For all that pressure, for all that control they had in the second leg, they just couldn't find the back of the net. And as we've already heard, that's kind of been the story of their season. And the captain backs this up, point for point. Knocking on the door is not enough. It's a perfect summary of their tactical frustration. All that buildup, all that pressure, it's all for nothing if you can't deliver that final blow. Van Dijk even admits that. Because of that, PSG deserved to go through. Okay, so with the European dream officially over, the team's focus has to shift, and it has to shift immediately. All attention now turns to their last hope for salvaging something from this season, that fight for a top 5 finish. And this is it. This is the new mission statement. There are no more trophies to play for. The single most important objective now is to finish in the top 5 of the Premier League and lock down a place in next season's Champions League, period. So what does that race actually look like? Well, as it stands, Liverpool are sitting in 5th with a 4-point cushion over Chelsea. Now, that sounds pretty comfortable, right? But here's the catch. 5 of their last 6 games are against the very teams breathing down their necks. This isn't just a run-in, it's a gauntlet. And they get absolutely no time to ease into that gauntlet of a schedule. Nope. In fact, the ultimate test of their character, their resilience, and their ability to bounce back is coming up, right now. As the captain says, a massive game is waiting for them. And it really doesn't get much bigger than this. The Merseyside derby. They're facing an in-form Everton side, and there is going to be absolutely no place to hide. You can feel this powerful sense of urgency coming from the players. The heartbreak from the Champions League, it has to be put on a shelf. As Ryan Gravenberch put it, they have to pick themselves up. Sunday is waiting, and that league table isn't going to show them any mercy. So, that leaves us with the ultimate question. Will this painful European exit finally break their spirit, or is it going to forge a new resolve? Can they take all of that frustration, the big failure, the missed chances, that feeling of not being in a good place, and channel all of it into the focus they need for one of their biggest games of the season? Their entire next season could very well depend on the answer.